Hi, and good morning to you. Let's take a quick look at the XAUSD and see if we have a trading opportunity that we could take advantage of this week. The dollar appears to be very firm and strong ahead of the FOMC that is coming up this week. And I was able to pull out the major event that is likely going to be pushing the dollar to either way. We could be having a bullish momentum or a bearish momentum on this one. So we want to be looking out for structures that will align in favor of these releases. So we have the Fed interest rate decision on Wednesday, monetary policy statement, the FOMC economic projection, and the FOMC press conference on that same day. So we are having a quite an array of events that's likely going to be pushing the gold. However, if we are going to be looking at this from a technical standpoint, the first thing I did was to scale up into the higher time frame so that I want to have an holistic perspective of how we intend to take advantage of this move. Now, looking at the weekly time frame here, we can see that price has been on a strong bullish momentum in the last 5 to 6 years now, and I was able to identify a bullish trend line. As you can see, the thick black line on your screen, and I was also able to identify a temporary trend line that has been holding price action since 2018. And you can see how price has respected this temporary trend line. So this is what I want to be focusing right now. That is the temporary one. The green dotted line is what I want to be focusing on this week. We can see how price has consistently respected that level, and price, as soon as price got to as far as the $2,000.70 area, we saw a consolidation phase that led price right back into that bullish trend line here. And if we look at the structure here, since the month of July, we saw a couple of rejection of that bullish trend line. We saw the first one in the month of July, price came to this point, and then we saw the second one, which led into somewhat breakdown of that bullish trend line. So now going into the 1 week, are we going to be seeing this if as a false breakdown where price might be continuing to the upside from here, or how are we going to be having a further breakdown of that trend line to give us confirmation to join the rally to the downside? So in order to have a better perspective into the structure we have here on the weekly time frame, I want us to be scaling down to the daily time frame to have a better look. So now scaling down to the daily time frame, the first thing I was able to observe here on the daily time frame is this demand zone here. And you can see the demand zone shares a confluence with that bullish trend line we identified on the higher time frame. And if we look at the structure we have here, we can see we had a couple of rejection of the $1,700 area. We saw the first one here, we saw the second one in the month of July, and we saw a couple of rejection in the month of August stroke the early days of the month of September here, giving us a clue into the strength of the buyers at that point in time. However, something interesting happened during last week trading session. We saw a significant breakdown of that demand zone to give us a clue of the strength of the sellers here. So after citing the breakdown of this demand zone here, with a significant breakdown, we can see how it took price out of the $1,700 area right into the $1,650 area with a huge engulfing candle. So right now, with the breakdown of the structure, definitely as we are going into the week, we are going to be seeing this as a signal that price might be going to the downside in such a way that we might be seeing price do a retest of structure during this week, where confirmations on lower time frame is likely going to be giving us that's leverage to join the decline to the downside. However, before we go into the details, I also want to give us let us look at what has been happening in the last 6 months. In the last 6 months here, as you can see, as soon as price rejected the supply niche where we have seen that price has consistently found lower highs, giving us a clue into the strength of the dollar at this point. And price has consistently found this level. So one thing I did was to connect a series of lower highs here to give me this resultant bearish trend line, which you can see on your screen as the red dotted line. Now, price appears to have collapsed back into the bullish trend line we identified on the daily time frame, rejected that demand zone a couple of times before we saw the final breakdown of that structure. So, like I said, we should be looking forward to probably a retest of the structure in such a way that we have something like this. Then price respects that bullish trend line one more time. So like I said, if we have from a technical perspective like this, whenever we cite a breakdown of structure like this, we expect that price is likely going to do a retest of that structure to give us a confirmation of a trend continuation to the downside. So that is from a technical standpoint, and it's not all the time that we see price do this kind of pattern. Now with this information we have here, the next thing I did was to identify this key level here at the $1,700 area, which you can see was broken during the course of last week trading session. So let's see, is price going to come back into this level to give us that confirmation to go to the downside? That is one scenario I'm looking forward to this week. Or we could be having price break right above that level where a retest to structure could be a leverage for a bullish opportunity on this one. So in order to get a better perspective here, what I want to be doing is to scale down to the 4 hours time frame where things became a little bit clearer. So now on the 4 hours time frame, the first thing I observe here, right below the demand zone we identified on the daily time frame, was the structure here. So we saw the breakdown, remember? We identified this breakdown of this demand zone here, taking out all the buying position at this point. And as soon as price got into the 1650-55 area, we started seeing multiple rejection of this level by the buyers. So it was met, the selling potential was met by stiff resistance at this point where we saw price rejecting the $1,650 area, coming back into the 1690 area. We saw multiple rejection by the sellers at this point with an attempt to start pushing price to the downside, but was met with stiff resistance at this point here, giving us a channel, that is a channel there. And then what happened in the later part of last week trading session gave us a clue of a possible um, reversal pattern. That is price coming back to probably retest this key level we identify here, which also shares a confluence with the demand zone we identified on the daily time frame. So that is one possibility I'm looking forward to right now. So are we, is it good, is it going to be a very good thing for us to be taking advantage of a counter trend here? That is, if we cite that we already have a breakout of the structure, are we going to be seeing a retest of structure here to give us a confirmation of a counter trend, which we could actually take advantage of and place our take profit target right around the key level here, as we want to see how price action is going to relate with this level. Is there going to be a breakout of that structure to push price to the upside here, or are we going to be having multiple rejection of this level to incite a trend continuation to the downside? So this is what I want to be looking at in the early hours of the week. So I would like to pause the video at this point and let's see how price action is going to relate with this area during the early hours of the week, and definitely I will be sharing an update in that regard in the comment section of this video as usual. If this video has in any way been of immense help in making your individual decision during the new week, kind of support this project by clicking the like button. You will also want to follow me on my TradingView platform at Dark Sherry so that you don't miss out on the regular updates I normally share in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video and I hope to see you on Monday morning. Bye bye.